I hate when I'm on here talking about something and y'all get in the comments like, oh, that's not true. There's plenty of good men out there. My dad is a good man. My brother's a good man. My uncle's a good man. Are you fucking them?
Not all men. People are quick to say men, even men and women, they're quick to say not all men. Oh, my brother is not like that. My dad is not like that. Oh, my dad is a good man. Oh, my uncle is a good man. Oh, not all men. My husband is good husband. When you hear women coming out to say, oh, somebody just raped that young girl. How all men are rapists? Not all men. Oh, all men are cheaters. Not all men. Some men, some are good. Like some people are like not all men. Some people are like all men. So when it comes to saying things like maybe bad things happened, a lot of people used to say not all men. Some men will come out and say not all men. There are good men out there. You are the one picking the wrong men. Are we going to say not all men, or we are just trying to make the other ones feel better, or just to console ourselves and say not all men, just to console ourselves, like as an individual, like, okay, let me just console myself, let me just tell myself it's not all men, so that I will not just know that all men are dangerous. Is that it? I came up with some videos of women and also I think a man sharing what this not all men thing is about. So let's go ahead and watch these videos together. And I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video, but then I'd like to know your thoughts about this not all men conversation down in the comment section respectfully as we watch the videos together.
See, I don't give a damn about their ego. And women are afraid to just stand up and be raw with it. I even hear women when they want to talk about this stuff to try to protect male ego, some, not all, but man, that. Why the hell you got to protect the male ego by saying some, not all? 93% of all imprisoned persons are male. Why the hell you talk about some, not all, to protect these motherfuckers? Nobody give a goddamn about their ego. Nobody cares about their ego. I will never say some, not all.
I hate when I'm on here talking about something and y'all get in the comments like, oh, that's not true. There's plenty of good men out there. My dad is a good man. My brother's a good man. My uncle's a good man. Are you fucking them? You don't know how those men behave toward the women they're intimate with, right? You don't know their history. You don't know how they behave behind closed doors. The only reason you think those men are super duper good men is because you are family property. And because you don't know what they've really done when you weren't looking or before you were born. So in conclusion, stop speaking on what you don't know. Because you're not your father, brother, uncle, cousin, right?
I swear to God, if I hear one more man say, not all men, to me, I'm gonna lose it. I feel like so many guys think that that one-liner is just so quirky and fun, and you can just whip it out anytime you're having a conversation with a woman. And recently it's become my boyfriend's go-to. Let's talk about what's wrong with that. From my experience, almost all of the men that I have had some kind of encounter with have a really hard time owning up and taking responsibility for their actions. The phrase, not all men, literally works to exclude men from having any kind of liability against their own actions, as well as the actions of fellow men. I feel like we all have a brain, and we all have eyes, and we know that not all men are rapists and abusers, because that would be absolutely insane, because that's not true. But in a lot of ways, all cis hetero men have contributed towards the oppression of women. And this happens in the smallest day-to-day occurrences, like not actively listening to a woman's perspective and interjecting by saying not all men, not recognizing your privilege as a man, not challenging sexism, not sharing household and childcare duties equally. Like, the list literally goes on. So that's part of it. But I feel like where most women are coming from when they are generalizing a situation or a behavior to all men, it's because the majority of our experiences with men have been negative and traumatizing as fuck. It's honestly really sad, but every single woman that I have met has either been harassed by a man, abused in some capacity by a man, degraded by a man, undermined by a man. The list literally goes on. And it gets to a point where, yeah, you're going to start to make generalizations because it's happening so frequently to so many women. And I feel like this goes back to having a brain part. If you know you don't do that, stop invalidating the female experience by coming at us with the not all men. Because it shows that you're not actively listening, like what I talked about earlier, or recognizing your privilege as a man, which is really frustrating and hurtful to us women. So next time, rather than trying to protect your fragile ego over a situation that didn't even involve you, how about you just try sitting back, listening, hearing what we're saying, and just saying, shit, I'm so sorry that happened. That's not fair. That sucks. We all have eyes and a brain, but sometimes I start to question the ear part. Use your ears, start listening, that's all we want.
So this is to the not all men women, right? The women who have to tell themselves and they have to tell other people that it's not all men because it helps you to feel better about the man that you're with, because you don't want to think that the man that you're with is like all the other guys out there, and you don't want to think that your future man is like all the other guys out there. So y'all tell yourself not all men, and I know what that's all about. Y'all don't want to face the fact that there's too many men. There are like more men that are not good than there are guys that are good. But the only thing that the not all men mindset is going to get y'all is got. I'm going to keep saying that. You're just going to get got. Because what it's going to do is it's going to keep you on these dating apps. It's going to keep you going on dates with men who are going to waste your time. It's going to keep you in dangerous situations. It's going to keep you out here in the pissy dating pool. It's going to keep you on a treadmill. Or if not a treadmill, you know, a hamster wheel. You know how the hamster just go and go and go and they're not going anywhere? Like, that's all the not all men mindset is going to get you. And it's so crazy because I know a lot of my content comes across like I want all women to just give up on love, because that's not it. It's not that I want women to give up on love. I just want women to know what y'all are up against. I need y'all to get out of fairy tale land, because a lot of y'all just keep losing your lives to these men, you know. And I really wish that more women could find this like self-love within yourself, so that you don't feel like you need to be out here finding a man to like complete you or whatever, right? You don't feel complete without a man. Because when y'all keep going through these dating situations and on these dating apps and all this stuff, I'm just like, y'all ain't tired yet? Like, y'all just like, you know. And this is a very individual decision, right? I can't tell women y'all need to be single forever, don't ever date again. I could never, and I would never tell women that. But I really do believe that if more women took the step to just be by yourself for a while, and then really learn yourself and learn the type of nature that males really have, and you really understand them, you're less likely to keep putting yourselves in harm's way. You'll be okay with yourself. You will be at peace with the idea of being with somebody or without being with someone, right? You just won't be so desperate, right? Because a lot of y'all are just desperate. And every time I get on this app, I see more and more stories of women being, you know, unalived by men that they have had babies by, or men they met on dating apps, or a man who they thought were friends for the last 20 years in high school, and she finally gave him a chance, and then next thing you know, he took her head off, right? I just don't, like, these stories are going to get worse too, by the way. Like, it's going to, you guys are putting yourselves in harm's way by going out on these dates. And you're just constantly disappointing yourself day after day. And I'm like, y'all really not tired yet. Like, I just don't understand. But that's how I know a lot of you guys are that desperate. Because you guys will keep putting yourselves in harm's way, all for the sake of love. Fake love at that, because most men don't love for real. Y'all still haven't figured that out yet, right? I don't want to get on this app and hear stories every day about more and more women, especially black women, that are coming up unalived, coming up, turning up DEAD. Do you know what I mean? Because they went on some dating app. And the one creator on here, Winnie, I think Whitney, was that her name? The one who's always talking about dating apps and matchmakers and whatever else. I don't have nothing bad to say about her. She's a beautiful lady. She just comes across a little desperate. And I just saw a video of hers a few days ago about paying for a guy's date or whatever. And I'm like, I just don't want nothing bad to happen to her. Because, like, when I see stuff like that, I just see, like, I'm hoping that she does this for content purposes, and that she comes across a little desperate and a little dense, and I don't know if she is or not. I'm not sitting here trying to clown on her, please don't take it that way. But when I see stuff like that, I'm like, is she doing this for content, or is she really, like, going out on these crazy dates with these men? Like, I just don't want to see nothing happen to her. I'm only saying that to say this. And I don't want to see anything happen to women. Like, I really don't. It just bugs me. But I just really believe that if women take time to be by themselves and really get to learn yourself and learn who you are and learn the real true nature of men, I think a lot of you guys won't come across so desperate. And you won't be out here making these desperate ass decisions. Like, women who in 2024 who are still on dating apps. Like, what are you doing? Do you have a death wish? Like, I don't get it. But I just wanted to say, the not all men mindset is going to keep y'all on this hamster wheel. That's it. That's all it's going to do. It's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to look around 10, 15, 20 years later, and you're going to be some of these women said they've been on these dating apps for 10, 15, 20 years. What? 8 years, 5 years? Really? Y'all still ain't getting the picture. Y'all still ain't tired yet. I don't know what else to say. Just think about what I'm saying. If y'all want to stay in this rat race, go right ahead. But I'm just saying, the energy and time that y'all keep putting into these dating apps and going on dates with these men and finding my man and finding my person and not all men, you could really be, like, making yourself a better woman. Like, you could be going to school, you could be getting a degree in nursing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you could just be doing something else. And y'all are wasting time on males that are just going to lie to you, send their representative, jack your credit up, right? And give you a hair weave you don't need. Y'all know what movie I got that from. But you know what I mean? Like, that's really all you're doing. You're just gonna invite men in your life to, like, ruin things. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. And some of you guys are, some women are gonna end up unalived. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's worth it. But I just want to know why y'all ain't tired yet. That's my only question.
Men pride themselves on being logical and only talking about the facts. So when they say not all men, in their mind, they're like, that is factually true. I am being logical and I win this game. But you're playing the wrong game. You're not considering power structures, social dynamics. You're not understanding the nuance of what's happening in the conversation. Like, there's a social intelligence that you're lacking. It's like you're rolling an intelligence check when really you need to be rolling a wisdom check. Because wisdom says, okay, this conversation is about women. It's not about men. And women are telling us about their experience. And if I were to come in and say, not all men, I've suddenly shifted. It's called switch tracking. Now we're not even talking about women. We're talking about men. And we're talking about protecting men's image. Because I'm threatened. When you talk bad about men, that means I might be bad. And my sense of masculinity and my personhood has always been in question, because masculinity is never guaranteed. It's something I have to prove and earn every single day. So now we have to change the conversation. So not understanding the social dynamics, men think that they can throw facts in there that are unrelated to the topic of what's going on, and just because it is a factually true statement, they think that it's helping. It's directing women. What you're saying is, women, what you're talking about, which is your real life experience, what you're talking about is not important. What's really important is protecting men's image. Let's switch this conversation to talk about how not all men are that way. We're no longer going to talk about the oppression and harassment and abuse and suppression that women live under. We're going to talk about how not all men are that way, and that men, especially me, are good. We need to talk about men. So men, we need you to be more wise. We need you to understand what you're doing on a social level. We need you to have social intelligence, emotional intelligence, to understand that hijacking, taking hold of a conversation and making it about what you want to talk about is silencing. That is part of the oppression that women live under. Every time you say, not all men, you're changing the conversation. We're no longer talking about women and their experiences. We're talking about men and protecting men's image. Whenever you change the conversation to center on men, you are part of the problem. You are part of the oppression that women live under every single day. And this is really hard to deconstruct. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to grow in your awareness. You have to go to therapy. You have to listen to what women are telling you. When they say, you're hijacking this conversation, or don't say not all men. Like, when people say that, you need to listen, because they're trying to help you understand a social dynamic that you can't understand, because you've fully stacked out in your intelligence store and you're completely lacking in wisdom.
So when it comes to not all men, when some women say not all men, I feel like they're just trying to make themselves feel better. They're trying to like make themselves, they're just trying to see the good in where there's no good. I don't know how to put it. They're trying to see that, okay, let me say it's not all men. Let me not say all men cheat. Let me say my man doesn't cheat, because I won't say all men cheat because my man doesn't cheat on me. So not all men cheat. Your man can be cheating, but my man is a good man. Or not all men are abusive. My man doesn't abuse me. Like, they feel like they just try to make themselves feel better and try to, make it look like you are the one that have the problem. You are the one that chose the wrong way. You are the one that is surrounded by the men that are evil, while I am surrounded by men that are good. So I feel like that is why some of these women say things like this. They try to make themselves feel better, or they try to convince themselves that, okay, probably they might still find good men out there, maybe, right? And it can be so annoying, because most of these crimes that you see or that we hear out there are surrounded by men. And I'm supposed to say not all men. Almost everything surrounded by men. You will see evil things that these people are doing to young girls, to older women, to their wives, to their daughters, to their girlfriends, their baby daddy, their baby mama, everything, to their sisters. But you still see people say not all men. So if probably, just as Priscilla said, if 93% of these men are doing things like this, so the 7%, do you know how many men you're going to meet to find 7% good man out there? Okay, let's say they're not even up to 7%. Let's just say probably there's 1% good men out there. Do you know how many men you're going to meet that you have to be very careful that it will not be part of the 99% of the men that are evil? Do you know how many experiments you're going to perform to show that it is not literally all men? I just feel like if you convince yourself and just know that, okay, this is how men behave. If you tell yourself as a human or as a woman that this is how men, this is what they do, this is how they manipulate people, this is like, if you kind of expect the worst from them, you won't feel, or you won't like get really heartbroken when some things happen to you, because you'll be like, Suspected, that's how men do. Like you expected them to do like that. But if you're like convincing yourself, oh, not all men, not all men. There was a woman that shared a story. She's this, not all men, no, my man don't cheat. He's faithful. Like a man shows her the side she needs to see, that the side that she wants her to see. It shows her those side. It makes her feel like she's the only person for her. Like it's just, and she tells almost all her friends that not all men, your man can be doing this, my man is not doing this, da 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 da. She'll say not all men, right? So now one day she started feeling suspicious. We women have our instincts and all of that. She started feeling like something. Let me check the phone. So she checked the phone and she had to even clone the phone and started saying messages of like going on and off on her partner's phone, saying that when are you going to come and check the kids? When are you going to abandon the children? So our man that she's thinking that is faithful, my man don't cheat, now has family outside that even the in-laws, everybody, they are aware of the family, and she's the only one that is not even aware of the family. So what I'm trying to say is you don't even know what these men are capable of doing until you catch them. Right? You don't, some of your fathers, some of your uncles, your brothers that you're saying, oh, my brother is a good person. You don't know what he has done to some women. You don't know until you know. So if you don't know, make sure no. Just sip it, right? Till you know. So I just feel like women should expect the worst and not try to make it look like it's not all men. Oh, kiniko. So that you're not going to feel heartbroken when you eventually find out some things that you're not supposed to find out. And when it comes to men saying not all men, I feel like men saying not all men is just to validate them or just to make themselves feel better. Like, okay, probably there are other good men out there. They know what they are capable of doing. They know what they can do. They know, right? Men come together. They have a group of friends. If you go and tell probably your man's friend and say, this is what my man did to me, they don't act surprised because they know that he's capable of doing something like that. They know what they are capable of doing. So I just feel like them saying not all men is just to make women feel bad and say, oh, you're the one picking the wrong ones. You're the one choosing the ones that are evil. You're not looking for the good ones. How many men do you want to experiment before you find a good one? That I'm saying, how many good men are there out there? How many good men are there out there before you can find, like, so many evil ones before you can find just one good man, right? It's not easy. So will you say not all men or some men, or what is your take on this not all men situation? Let's have a conversation down in the comment section respectfully, and thank you all so much for tuning in today's video. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified once I upload another interesting video. And of course, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.